Well, we got another cat out here. It's getting more friendly. Well, I'm going to do some engine cleaning here, and to tell you the truth, one of my best engine cleaners I ever found is this stuff called Awesome. Man, I buy this junk by the gallon. I just keep putting in new stuff in the bottle. And I got my pressure washer here, and it's a little electric jobber. But what I got it hooked into is the house. The hot water tank is actually on extra hot. I think it's up to 140 degrees. And I got this hose out here all the time. It's with a double fitting, so I got two things to open it up so the hose doesn't leak any water out. So now the water's hooked up to the hot water, and I'll tell you what, it's amazing how much better it works. See, the one thing I noticed, two things. First, there was still some smoke coming off of the unburned oil and stuff. I mean, grease, that from the valve cover gaskets that I replaced a long time ago. Now the other thing is, first time I seen this happen. Now that's my starter motor down there, right? You can probably barely see it. It's covered in grease, and that part's probably going to get changed. But when I was down in a city part, I went to start the car up after it was sitting out in the sun for hours, and the first time I ever seen this happen, the starter motor just, it just didn't do its thing. It started spinning. Solenoid didn't engage. So I think that might be from grease, but I'm going to replace that. The fuel pump, the fuel lines, the timing chain and gear set, which that'll be more working valve, the water pump, the hoses, and the belts. Might leave this old alternator in there. That was a Lifetime many years ago. It's probably still okay. And put an HHO setup in there, a 21 plate jobber up on the front of the radiator mount, and new tires up front, which these are good, but they're old. A lot of tread on them, but they're old. And call that a day for running back and forth up to Tennessee. I start making my whatever new base up there, But this Awesome really breaks down this stuff, and I'll tell you, I'm going to turn on this cleaner and see what I mean. Really, this pressure washer with hot water works like a son of a bitch. Well, you can see the engine got noticeably cleaner tonight. That's all painted black, so that's why that's black. So valve covers are black, but you can see up on the front of the engine, got all that grimy grease off of there, which makes it easier to work on when I go to, say, pull off that timing cover later on. All that's cleaned up. The master cylinder thing's cleaned up. This got cleaned up. And probably all that oil that burned up down in here I blasted that out of there. It's probably not, because this was like it was like, there's a slight exhaust leak coming from that heat riser thing. Probably should change that, and also down there by the catalytic converter. But a lot, you can see down there by the starter motor. It's nice and clean now. Now since I stopped see around the fuel pump's all clean. So since I stopped the leak from the valve covers, and I'm going to paint that with some truck bed lining and stuff after it's kitted with rust killing primer. That's the heater blower motor, which is nice and easy to change on this car, that's for sure. Unlike some of the, this is 78, you think that was a newer car, but today it's old, it's easier to work on. This thing run pretty good, actually. I gotta change the plugs in it. They've been in there for a good 5 years. Did you notice the steam and carburetor? You see the fuel right here. Now I clean this all off now with the, pressure washer on it, real hot water. That's the fuel right there. You can see it right there in the glass. See it? That's a handy little feature, man. I'll tell you that. If you ever want to know you're flooded out or not, you can see right where that's sitting. If you got the needle valve gets stuck or whatever. So it did a good job. Did a nice job. And like if you go to work on your car, and before you go work on it, blast it off with this crap first, because it makes it a lot easier. It's like taking apart, Tonka toy stuff, nice and clean. It's like your hands are still get dirty, but nowhere near as much. Not even close. So anyway, that's a wrap. That's my trick on cleaning motors. Way cheaper, and this is only like a $100 pressure washer. It's electric. But when you're putting 140 degree water through that baby, it works like a miracle. Plus, if you're using that awesome cleaner, like I said, and of course I put the cat food up there so it wouldn't get anything on the cat food when I was doing this. It was down here, right? So, if the horn still works. Yeah, it does. Anyway, that's cool. Anyway, that's a wrap, man. Well, 11¼ gallons for 130 miles, so that's 112 miles to the gallon. So we need some new plugs and a 21 plate HHO in this sucker, man. But gas gauge works. Actually, this thing started running a lot better after I ran it for a while and I had that V12 in the gas tank. And actually, if I ran that same trip again, the mileage would have went up. So it'd probably get about 13 or something. But we'll see what it does with the HHO. I'm hoping to get it 15 around average. I'll eventually, I'm not going to change the cam and get rid of that tick, but I will put a timing chain in there for caution. But it does run a hell of a lot better after I took that trip with some V12 in there, put some new plugs in there. Be good to go.